Hello, testing。咁多位觀眾，大家好，有冇睇到畫面同埋聽到聲呢？好，首先都好歡迎大家啦。今日係星期3啦，就又係我哋實拍實說呢個 channel 係大地升學嘅 live sections 啦。咁今日咧都好高興啦，我哋邀請到另外一間英國嘅 private college 咧做今日嘅 live presentations 嘅。咁咧佢就都係做一個 broadcast 嘅，都係錄影。然之後咧，我哋會留翻喺度啦，解答大家嘅問題嘅。咁我亦都借呢次機會啦，亦都再介紹下我自己先啦。我係大地升學嘅 Patrick， 跟住另外呢位女同事咧就係阿 J， 仲有另外一位嘅同事就係 Dylan。咁阿 J 咧其實本身就係喺英國讀寄宿中學嘅，佢係讀一間女校嘅 Mayfield School。咁Dylan 就唔使多介紹啦，佢就成日喺我哋啲片都見到㗎啦。咁佢係而家 base 喺英國啦，咁都會食過好多我哋大地升學代表嘅英國寄宿學校啊，同埋大學啊，另外一啲 private college 啊、sixth form college 啊，佢都有 visit 嘅。咁今日啦，我哋就等多一陣，咁多啲 audience 嘅時間咧，我哋就正式開始今日嘅 live sessions 喎。嗱，喺正式開始之前咧，我都提大家啦，如果未 subscribe 我哋實拍實說嘅 channel 咧，記得 subscribe、share、like 同埋 comment。咁記得要撳埋嗰個 bell 啦，咁到時有片咧，我哋就會通知到你㗎啦。我哋等多少少啊，等多陣。咁同埋咧，今日呢間學校咧 Kings College 咧，佢本身係一間私立學院嚟嘅，同星期一做嘅 presentations 嘅 Cardiff Sixth Form College 咧係相類近嘅，但係佢哋嘅分別咧就都唔係一間傳統嘅 boarding school 啦，而呢間Kings College 咧佢有4個 campus 嘅，分別喺Oxford 啦、Cambridge 啦、Brighton 啦同埋 Bournemouth 嘅。咁陣間完咗之後咧，我哋都會介紹一下佢哋嘅學校啦，同埋就講下都呢間學校嘅一啲特色嘅。咁陣間我哋就完咗學校代表 marketing manager marketing director 佢係Anna 嘅 presentation 之後咧，我哋就會留喺度解答大家嘅問題㗎啦。好，咁我諗而家時間都差唔多啦，咁我哋就開始今日嘅broadcast seminar 咯。咁我哋而家會 black screen 先，陣間我哋爭再翻嚟㗎啦。好，暫時我哋離一離開。
Hello, my name is Anna Matthews-Stroud and I am the Director for King's Colleges. Today I'm going to talk to you about going to a top UK university, but thinking about how to choose the right A-levels, thinking about what choices you would make in order to get to the best degree choice for you. So I've got some slides here and we're gonna run through it now. So just to start off with, just to give us a bit of background about the British education system. So as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, we have 3 years of starting with the sort of younger secondary years. Then British students will go into GCSEs, where we'll study up to 11 subjects. So at this stage, you've got quite a lot of choices about what you're going to study. It then starts to get much more specific, as you can see here, when we go into our A-levels. So at A-levels, students will choose typically 3 subjects, sometimes 4. So it's getting a bit more specific. So A-levels, they're kind of the gold standard. They're the subject, or they're the exams that students will take to ensure they would get into the top British universities. We also, just so that you know, at King's, we also have an advanced level foundation, and the advanced level foundation, that's based on A-levels. So another choice that students might take is looking at taking advanced level foundation, because that's a 1-year course that will be based on A-levels. So everything I talk about, the subject choices, actually can be applicable to both A-levels, or if as an international student you wanted to take a 1-year course and do foundation. So what I'm going to talk about, as I say, is kind of applicable to both. And then that's how then going on to, as we're talking about, into university, as you can see here. And of course, with the UK, we typically will do 3 years our degree. Oh, sorry, I don't know what that's gone back for. So typically we will do 3 years, but sometimes it will be a 4-year degree. So when you're thinking about choosing your A-levels, so you've kind of done your base, your wider, broader set of subjects that we talked about for GCSEs or equivalent in your home country, and you're thinking about your A-levels. So these are going to be the gateway to get you into your next step, to get you into your degree. Questions to ask yourself. First and foremost, what do you enjoy? And that is an important point. You know, you are going to spend 2 years focusing, given that you've only got 3 subjects, you're really focusing on quite a narrow area, you could say. So it's really important that you enjoy this. But a second question, very, very important as well, is what are you good at? What are your key strengths? So it's one thing to say you enjoy it, but maybe it's a subject. For example, I might say I enjoy art. I am useless at art, so it wouldn't be a good choice for me at A-level because I wouldn't get this. I haven't got the strengths, haven't got the skills for that. So it's balancing what you enjoy and what you know your strengths are, what you're going to do well in. Then think about the area you want to study for your degree. Now, in the UK, very few subjects and universities offering subjects will specify the exact A-level subjects that they want you to take. Some will, but not so many. So you can actually keep your subjects open. You can keep, broadly speaking, you can keep the subject choice open, but it is, of course, important to think about broadly, what degree area are you looking at? That will help you decide the A-levels that you're looking at. Are you thinking more sciences or arts, for example? So think about, does the degree you have prerequisites in any prerequisite subjects or other entry requirements? A very good example of this, of course, would be, for example, medicine. If you want medicine, you are definitely going to have the sciences. You will also have entry tests that you will need to take. Think about other things like, so are you willing to have that commitment? Is that something you're willing to do? So that would be a big decision. But if, for example, you're thinking about, well, I might be interested in history, or I might be interested in English literature or something else, you can have a lot broader range of subjects that you would take. There's not going to really be specific subjects a university will ask you for. So thinking broadly, are there prerequisites or can you keep your options open? When you're thinking about going to university, things that universities will consider, of course, they're going to consider your previous achievements. So again, that goes back to what subjects are you going to do well in, because they're going to look at the grades, in many cases, more than the specific subjects those grades are in. They'll look at your predicted grades, because when you apply to university, of course, you don't have your exam results yet. So you want to be doing well all the way along so that your predictions are going to be high. They'll look at your personal statement, which we're going to talk about later, references. Of course, they're going to look at your potential success in the subject. So they're going to look at, do you have the skills that are suited to this particular subject? And I'm going to talk through some examples of those later. As mentioned, they're only going to specify subjects for some degree courses. So I'm going to go through some examples for here, just to tell you, explain a little bit more what I'm talking about, because often students will talk to me about, I want to do this subject at university, what A-levels must I take? So in business, if you want to do business, what are the essential A-levels? Actually, there are none. You can go to take a business degree, really, you can look at any A-level subjects. Now, if you're looking specifically into management or finance areas, maths would be really important. And some areas might say that is one you have to have if it's particularly related to finance. But if you're looking at a business arts degree, no. Other useful A-levels. So this is where you get to the area of thinking, well, what A-levels would be, could be good because they're setting me up for the skills that I need to take this degree. So maths could be useful. History could be useful. Politics, economics, law could be. Business could be a good A-level, but be careful on this one. And it's a topic we're going to see. I'm going to talk you through a bit through here. Some of the A-levels, such as business, are a little bit newer. They're slightly newer A-levels. They're not the traditional, or a word you may sometimes hear is facilitating subjects. And business is one of the slightly newer A-levels. So if you're looking to go into business or management at university, it's actually be careful about sometimes choosing something like a business degree. If you're looking at a more traditional university, so we might say UCL, we might say Manchester, we might say Bath University, some of those, they might not be so keen on seeing a business A-level. They'd prefer to have more of the traditional ones, things like history, economics. Those subjects might be more attractive to them. So it's worth considering that when you're looking at the A-levels. Look at economics might be another A-level that you're interested in doing. Certainly maths would be pretty much considered, essential if you're looking at studying economics. But of course, you've got two other subjects that you would take along with economics. So again, economics, although not essential, as long as you have sort of maths in there. Further maths can be really useful as well. So with further maths, so what essentially that is, and further maths is quite a challenging subject, but it's one, again, if you are a very good mathematician and you know you want to go into something related to maths, be that economics, be that maths as a degree, be that a finance related, maths and then further maths are very good A-levels to take. Further maths is essentially a higher level of the A-level maths, so it's getting you even closer to a degree. So that can be a very useful degree to take as well. Statistics could be good, but again, you're still looking at art subjects as well. For example, history. So often universities as well want to see a little bit of a mix in what you're able to study. So that's something else to consider. You don't want to have all subjects that are the same area. They want to see you've got a broader range of abilities. So in terms of when we're talking about sort of maths for economics, just one thing to think about there. Again, you won't necessarily have to have maths, though it would be very, very useful. It also looks at what you're going to go on to do, because economics can be a little bit more the art side. So if you had the economics A-level, that could set you up. But if you're looking at down the line doing an MSc, so a master's in the science area, then that's going to be a good one for you to do. Let's switch things up and look at art. Now you notice here, I've got here as a BA as opposed to a BSc. So when you're looking at degrees, you can have a Bachelor of Arts, a Bachelor of Science. And so that's something else that you can have a think about, kind of, would those be, are you more interested in the art side of things? So are you interested, for example, in looking at more essay-based subjects? Are you, so if it's arts, it's going to be a little bit more about, you've got more time to do research, you're writing more things, you're going to be doing more things like presentations. Or are you more interested in the science side of things? So therefore looking more at, it's about memorizing facts. It's about taking more regular tests. So those are things that you could, you would have a look at as well. So you're looking also between sort of the arts and the sciences. And if we just go back, if I just come back to this one here again, to show you, this is an example here with economics. You might be looking, economics, you could still, you might, that's actually got quite a lot of essays in the exam, or sorry, in the coursework and in the course itself. So that's another thing to think about. Economics, are you quite good at writing, at doing longer essays. So you've still got that area of sort of an arts area to you. If you're thinking, no, I'm very much more about maths, about sciences, I like to learn facts, I'm better at just doing sort of short papers, facts, answers, not writing longer essays. Economics, probably not your area. Stick more with the things like maths, physics, finance areas, those ones. So there's those things to consider in terms of what area, sort of what style, if you like, of subjects it is. Another one that a lot of students will think about is art. So an art degree. Well, certainly for that, you're going to need an art A-level, but an art related. So it could be art, it could be photography, it could be graphic design, because it depends the art you want to go on and study at university. So again, even within art, there's a whole range of things. For example, other A-levels that could be useful could be things like business or economics, because if you wanted to go into, for example, art management, fashion management, art retail, those kinds of things, you can bring the two worlds together. So you've got your artistic area, but then you've also got your finance or your management or your business area. Those go really well together, and that would clearly set you up to go into that specific area. Otherwise, an art A-level is a really a good A-level to have alongside any other two A-levels. Why? Because it shows a university, going back to what we were talking about, it wants to look at, you as a student, so to speak, the university admissions people will. It shows a university that actually you're quite a wide-ranging student. So, for example, if you did art and then you did maths and something else, maybe economics or further maths or something, it shows that you're not just an art student, you're not just a science student, you've actually got a range of skills, which is very attractive to a university and moving on. So the thing with art is it can be a very good subject to take alongside really any two other A-levels. The other thing to note when you're looking at doing art that a lot of students need to remember is, even after taking art A-levels, often you will need a foundation in art, so at the university. Some universities now are moving to allowing you go from A-levels straight into a degree, but a lot of universities will still ask you to do an art foundation. So that's a consideration. Another consideration could be, therefore, if you're looking at art, you might want to think about finishing where you're finishing in your home school and just coming, for example, to Kings and doing an art foundation straight away to kind of jump you to that. So, there's lots of different routes that you can take if art is an area you're interested in. The other one that often I get asked about is architecture. So architecture is different to art in the sense that, so you'll see here, I've got BA or BSc. So it goes back to that idea of, is the degree going to be more about the arts or is it about the sciences? Well, an art degree, be that fashion, be that fine arts, be that photography, that's an arts degree. Architecture can either be a Bachelor of Science or it can be a Bachelor of Arts. So that, depending on the area you want to go, will then influence what subjects you take. So with architecture, maths can be very important. Art will be needed as well. So some courses require art because they're very design based. So those would be more of the BA, architecture BA. So that's much more about design. They definitely want to see your portfolio. They will want to see your sort of your artistic skills. So portfolio will be a key part of it, just as it would be with an art degree. A big part of your application will be your portfolio. But if you're looking at architecture as a BSc, so you're looking much more at the structural side. So actually that's kind of architecture really aligned more to engineering, then on that one, maths is going to be important. And I would always recommend physics as well. So that's more, you're going to be looking, as I say, much more at the engineering side, looking at the structural side of a degree. So that's with architecture. That's always one that is important to look at. So that will help you decide the subjects you take, and also whether you're looking necessarily at, for example, an art foundation, or whether you're looking at A levels. Okay, so politics is another one, or in politics and international relations. So just again, to just put the point across about when you're choosing your A levels is these degrees are normally open with any A levels. So, you know, when you're looking at this, what universities are looking at, they're looking at your ability to kind of hold a large amount of knowledge. If you're looking at politics and international relations, that's going to be a lot of research, that's going to be a lot of essay writing, a lot of analysis of arguments. So that's the kind of thing you want to look at. It's not about the specific A levels, it's thinking about what skills do you need to show that you've got. So it can be a real range. Some of the ones we would recommend would be things like politics, history, law could be good, human geography. All of these are subjects that are a lot of research. They will require essay writing. They do require looking at wider issues, looking at society, debating those kinds of ideas. So that's the kind of area when you're looking at politics, international relations, and my next one with law, the same thing. It's that same idea that it's not necessarily that you would take a law A level. It's more that you're taking these subjects that show you a wide range, as I say, of being able to write essays, being able to hold, to hold information, to analyze information. So that's the kind of thing that universities are going to be looking at. We'll skip through these. Though I do want to just talk about computer science, because this is one that is definitely growing in popularity. And it's one that comes back to some of the newer A levels. So A level computer science is a relatively new A level. So a lot of students will ask me, do I have to, I want computer science at university, I must take a computer science A level. No, you don't need to. What they will look for is maths. They'll definitely look for maths. And then other things we would recommend would be further maths. Physics is a good one as well. Sciences, typically sciences, but it wouldn't have to all be sciences. But that's the one for computer science. The A level could be good, but it's not essential. And then something else in terms of computer science, if you're getting these, your sort of physics, maths, students looking at computer science, there's a whole range you can go into there. So into AI, into coding, into all of these different things. And as technology develops, the degrees related to computer science are growing all of the time. What's important, going back, is you've got the key skills to be able to take these kind of subjects so that you're able to, your maths and your physics, that's what universities are looking for, that you would be able to cope with those ones. So if you're good in those areas, you're then going to do well in computer science. One more that I want to talk about just in terms of subjects is medicine or biomed, pharmacy, sort of health related subjects. So with these ones, it is different. These are the ones where we would say, okay, these are the subjects you do need to take. So you're going to need to take chemistry and biology. You're definitely going to need to take those two for medicine, and really for anything related to this, like pharmacy, like biomed, like physiotherapy, any of those. Your third subject should be maths or physics. And this kind of keeps all of your options open. Sort of not taking maths or physics, taking a different subject will keep your options open. But as long as you've got at least two sciences, that is really, really important. Other things to remember if you're looking at medicine. So this is where I talked at the beginning about when you're looking at the A levels that you choose, it's about committing yourself, particularly with something like medicine. This is one where you need to be committed at the start. So you're going to be taking the UCAT, which is the University Clinical Aptitude Test, or the BMAT, so depending on the university you apply to. You'll also have to go for interviews, and you make a very early application for the 15th of October. So this is one where, if you are looking at medicine or anything related to that, you definitely have to have that is more prescriptive. Those are the decisions you make. And that is something that that is something you should be researching and know the requirements, because of course it's a tough, it's very competitive. It requires a high grades, but beyond those grades, it requires you to do well in those other tests as well. So those are things to think about, is that something you're committed to? So that gives you an idea, hopefully, about kind of choosing the A levels, the ones that you would choose. Just want to go through a little bit more about university applications. And again, what are universities looking for? Because when you're choosing your A levels, obviously the end game really is about the next step is going to be about university. The other thing, though, something really important about your time through your A levels, it's not just going to be about the grades. Of course, the grades are important, but every student who is applying to a certain course are going to have the grade requirement. So it's going to be more than that. They're also going to look at your personal statement. So while you're studying, what's your personal statement for? Well, it's part of a wider selection process. Different institutions will weight the importance differently. So it's going to depend on where you go, but it does help distinguish between students who have similar abilities and academic profiles. Some universities will use it as a reason to reject. Certainly they'll keep it as the basis for interviews. They'll use that when you go in and talk to them. For near misses, so for example, you've got a course that requires AAB and you got ABB. If they've still got spaces in clearing, they'll go back to your personal statement often and have a look, because look at, okay, they didn't quite get the grades, but what are they like as a student? So your personal statement is incredibly important. It's a really important element of your application. So what do you need to include in it? You need to explain your commitment to, your interest in, and your enthusiasm for a subject. So again, this goes back to when you're choosing your A levels. It's all about choosing the stuff that is interesting to you, that you have a passion for, that then you're going to continue that into your degree, because it goes through everything. It goes through your application process, all of it. Your audience, of course, is the admissions tutor. You need to show your relevant skills and abilities. So again, that's how it goes back to the subjects that you're choosing, not only thinking about the content of that, what they're looking at, the subjects that you've chosen at A level, how do they show your ability? So that's why in certain subjects, okay, you need maths. It shows your ability to work with numbers, to work out algorithms, to do all of that. Other subjects that are more, for example, international relations, it's important you've taken subjects like history or potentially politics. Why? That shows your ability to take on large volumes of written work, to analyze situations, to debate and present arguments. So the skills required in different A levels are ones that you would then talk about in your personal statement. It's not just about the grades that you've got. Highlight any work experience. And they must demonstrate, students must demonstrate they understand the course they've applied for. So what are the universities thinking? They're thinking about, has the student chosen the right subject for the right reasons? Goes back to what I talked about previously. Can they survive at university level? That's something else that's an important one, because university is all about being very independent and doing your own study. So that's something that through your A-levels, make sure you're kind of developing your ability to be working by yourself, to be developing your own thoughts, organizing your own time. Again, do they have a range of interests and aptitudes? So again, that goes back to when you're choosing your A-levels, sometimes it's really worth thinking about, does this show a broader range of my interests, or am I really focusing on, for example, maths, further maths and physics? That shows a very narrow area of your subjects. That might be your skill set, your strength. So that's good for you to do. But the thing to do is to add to that, make sure you're taking part in extracurricular activities at school, and you're showing a different skill set, that you're saying, okay, these are the subjects I do well, but I also have skills, interpersonal skills, different skills that you can get through extracurricular activities. All of these are important. It's not just about the subject. So just to talk a little bit here, therefore, about how we would support you at King's in terms of your personal statement. So at each of our colleges you work with us, we have a Ucas Coordinator. So that coordinator, as Alan Beard here, our coordinator in Brighton, talks about, he explains how Ucas works, gives guidance to the students, helps the different sections of Ucas, and one of the most important elements of the personal statement, which we spend a lot of time on, and they provide. So the important thing here is that we spend a lot of time with the students. We don't write it for them. It's about helping them bring out the most important sort of elements for them. And I talked just now about extracurricular is really important. So at King's, we have a whole range of extracurricular that we would encourage students to take part in, to show their different sides and the different skill sets that they have. One other thing is about the importance of work experience. Now, as international students, you're not necessarily going to be working in the UK, but it's about sort of anything that you've done. So it might be volunteering, it might be working at the school canteen. It's not about going out and getting necessarily a proper job, of course. So you use the space on the Ucas application to list any employment. And why is that important? Well, having a part-time job, it shows your ability to work under pressure. It shows your commitment, because you've committed to someone, whether that is, like I say, whether that's in the school, being a prefect, whether it is kind of doing volunteer work to every Saturday go and feed homeless people. Whatever it is, it shows a commitment. It shows that you can manage workloads, because you're not just doing your homework and your lessons, you're adding other things. All of these show a university you're a mature student who's going to cope with the workloads that come onto you when you're at university. So universities will also look at references, and we've talked about potential for success in the subject. So the references, again, that's where we would come in to help write references for the students. And as our Ucas coordinator says, it's really about the passion that students demonstrate for the subject. So when we write when we're writing the reference, we're careful, we're highlighting the student's commitment to that subject. So again, it always comes back to when you're choosing your A-levels, right, as I said at the beginning, choose the subject that you're interested in. Although your parents, I'm sure, many times will kind of perhaps have their ideas and want you to follow perhaps their footsteps or others, make sure that it's stuff that you enjoy, because it's what you're going to be spending your time doing, and you need to have a genuine interest in it to be able to then show to universities, to be able to then get into the best university for you. So other things just in terms of how we would help you, and something I'd always recommend to students is, when you're studying your A-levels as well, find out about different universities. What do different universities offer? What are the different courses they have? What are they looking for? The UK is a very quite a small place, a small country, but we've got over 160 universities. So there's a lot of choice for students to be able to go and see. So at King's, we have university fairs so that students are able to go and just kind of compare the different universities, just understand a bit more about what's on offer. And as I say, learn about the universities the courses offer. So we've got some comments here from our universities. Okay, and we've just finally, I'm just going to play a video here about our university fair, because to say, alongside choosing your A-levels, the next really important thing is your understanding about kind of what options you've got out there, because then your degree is going to be 3 or 4 years of your life. So you want to make sure that you're finding the right place. So if I just play this for you.
We're here at Kings London at a venue very close to the school. We have 25 university representatives here today who are here to talk to students, answer any questions about potential courses and help them choose the right university for them.
So the students will be far more equipped in terms of understanding exactly what the universities are looking for, because if they're looking in the prospectus, they're only going to get a certain amount, understand a certain amount of what the university can offer and what the university is looking for.
Well, Goldsmiths from arts and design students are always looking for lots of creativity, passion, and new and interesting ideas. And we find that a lot in King's students.
Well, actually, I attended a few of the presentations. So one of them is about university skills. Oh, well, it's really informative and it's actually really helpful. So cheers for that. I'm actually going to go join the presentation later for the Ucas application. Honestly, it's been such a great experience with all the new students and teachers.
Okay, so that brings me to the end of my presentation. I hope you found it useful and informative. Of course, I'd be very happy to talk with you individually about your choices for your A-levels and your upcoming studies. So thank you very much for your time today.
哦，唔好意思啊，頭先可能因為少少技術上面嘅問題啊嚇，咁啊而家應該聽到聲啦，而家係咪啊？聽到 OK， 好啦，咁啊我又再介紹下我嘅女同事啦，女同事阿 J 咧就係喺英國讀咗好耐㗎啦，已經係由 Year 8開始咧已經讀 boarding school 㗎啦，咁佢喺間女校讀嘅，跟住咧亦都喺英國嗰度升大學嘅，咁所以其實喺英國成個experience 咧好長。咁陣間如果有啲咩問題想問嘅咧，係問一啲喺當地讀書嘅經驗咧，佢又可以好咁樣分享俾大家聽啦。咁啊，仲有 Dylan 啦，Dylan 就係 base 喺英國嘅。 同埋我啦 Patrick， 咁我哋都係實拍實說 channel 入邊大地升學嘅員工嚟嘅。咁記得啦，如果有啲乜嘢想問嘅咧，就喺下邊留言嗰度就留低你嘅問題啦，咁我哋盡量會解答嘅。咁喺正式開始之前咧，我就做翻一如以往啦，做翻頭先Anna 嘅一啲少少嘅個 presentation 嘅 summary 啦。咁本身 Kings College 咧，其實同星期一做嘅 live session 入邊嘅 Cardiff Sixth Form College 咧，好類近嘅。咁佢都係一啲私立嘅學院啦。咁佢唔係提供全個中學嘅 curriculum 嘅。咁一般私立學院嘅特色咧，就係佢可能會係得 Sixth Form College 啦，或者可能佢會有 GCSE 呢個level 開始嘅，即係等於係 Year 10同埋 Year 11啦。咁Kings College 咧，佢同Cardiff 會有少少唔同嘅地方係咩咧？嗱，首先第一樣嘢咧，佢都有2年嘅 GCSE 啦，有1年嘅 GCSE 啦，亦都有2年嘅 A level 嘅。咁佢最特別咧就多咗一個 foundation program。咁陣間我哋都會花多少少時間咧講下 foundation program 究竟其實係啲咩嘢。咁Kings College 咧亦都有幾個 campus 喺英國嘅，咁包括有 Oxford 啦、London 啦、Bournemouth 啦同埋 Brighton。咁每個 campus 咧，其實喺佢頭先我頭先提及過嘅課程上邊咧，可能會有少少分別嘅。打個譬如2年嘅 GCSE 課程咧，就係得佢哋 Bournemouth 嘅 campus 先至有嘅啫。咁呢個係比較少少唔同嘅地方啦，就唔係佢所有嘅學校嘅 locations 都會有完全一模一樣嘅課程讀嘅，唔係嘅。咁Bournemouth 點解會係2年嘅 GCSE 咧？因為個 curriculum 2 years 啊嘛，咁啲小朋友細啲，所以就集中喺嗰個地方嗰度就 manage 啦。咁另外啦，其實喺 Anna 嘅 presentation 入邊咧，亦都講咗好多關於小朋友如果想喺英國讀大學嗰陣時咧，佢要揀啲咩科嘅？佢要揀嘅科嘅時間咧，揀嗰個 destination degree 啊，佢要喺 A level 去揀咩 subject 去讀喎。咁其實佢都講咗我冇特別數到好實在啦嚇，大約係7到8個program 嘅。咁啊包括有好 popular 嘅medicine 啦，亦都會有講過都幾多人揀嘅 business 啊、management 啊、economics 啊，甚至architecture 啊、politics 啊，呢啲佢都有講嘅。咁如果我唔會喺而家就再重複頭先 Anna 講嘅部分啦。咁但係如果你哋需要嘅，可以 replay 翻咧，咁你可以睇翻佢建議同學仔啦。如果佢想去讀呢一啲課程嗰陣時 ，A level 佢要揀啲咩啦？好啦，咁另外咧，佢亦都花咗啲時間咧講 Ucas 究竟係要有啲咩 preparations 喎。其實過往嗰幾場嘅 live 咧都有講過類似嘅。咁今日既然 Anna 都講得比較多啦，咁陣間我同同事咧都會喺呢個部分咧都會講解多少少，就希望俾啲 tips 大家啦。即係因為雖然呢一次我哋嘅 event 啦，第2擊啦，英國寄宿中學啦，咁但係其實我相信好多觀眾咧唔一定會係過去讀中學嘅，可能係會想去讀英國嘅大學都唔出奇嘅。咁如果你以 DSE 學生嘅身份又好，或者你用 A level 嘅身份去考英國嘅大學要點樣做咧？其實嗰個 Ucas 嘅 applications 都幾緊要嘅。咁陣間我哋都會講下。咁至於 foundation 啦，foundation 咧其實我哋會稱呼為一啲叫 pathway 嘅課程啦。佢唔係跟一個傳統嘅 A level 學生咧，咁佢會讀最少 minimum 3科啦嚇。咁有啲可能會讀多少少嘅。咁但係佢就唔係跟呢一個structure 去讀嘅，佢係會先揀咗，譬如我想讀第時讀商科嘅，咁佢會讀一啲 business foundation。咁呢個 pathway 咧，佢讀完之後咧，佢就會因為佢讀嘅 subjects 咧已經係 focus 喺 business 呢啲課程上面嘅啦，咁可能會有account 啊、economics 啊。或者 business management 呢啲科目咯，咁佢讀完呢啲 pathway program 之後咧，佢就可以去報讀翻相關嘅大學課程。咁但係記住嚇，因為你揀咗嘅 business foundation，咁所以咧就你又唔可以話我讀 business foundation，咁我可唔可以讀 health science 啊？咁就唔得㗎啦，因為你冇讀過相關 related 嘅學科啊，所以你就唔會即係唔 suppose 你可以報到其他課程㗎啦。咁如果你話 foundations，咁坊間其實都有，我哋會稱呼2大類啦。其中一類好似頭先 Kings College 咁啦，咁佢就會係 one to many 嘅。 你讀完佢嘅 foundation 咧，其實佢唔一定淨係要升翻某一間大學嘅，佢可以用呢個 foundation 嘅分數咧，去報經 Ucas 啦，去報翻英國唔同嘅大學嘅。咁但係呢度要留意啦，你要到時要問翻同事啦，究竟譬如以 Kings College 為例啦，或者其他私立學院為例啦，佢嘅 foundation 課程 one to many 嘅係咪會所有嘅英國大學都會 recognize 咧？係唔一定嘅。或者可能嗰個高 ranking 高 tier 嘅學校咧，可能佢對於嗰個 recognition 可能會有機會會有少少唔同嘅。咁所以呢啲部分大家都要 pay attention，要留意下啦。咁亦都係嘅。如果有啲咩問題係關於呢啲嘅，今日唔會詳細解答到大家。你哋到時咧 WhatsApp 我哋啦，2314832，同埋上嚟我哋嘅旺角或者荃灣 centre 咧，你都可以揾到問翻我哋同事攞翻相關資料嘅。好啦，嗱咁我哋就頭先我做咗個好簡單嘅summary for 阿 Anna 嘅 presentation 啦。咁我哋就回應下而家喺下邊 chat room 下邊嘅學生家長嘅問題先啊。我頭先有個畫面好朦，畫面好朦就好簡單嘅啫，教一教你個 resolution， 教到去highest 啦，或者係720P 啦，你試下可唔可以去1080啦？咁但係我哋就應該去唔到1080嘅，但係720應該做得到，咁你會冇咁朦㗎啦個畫面。我另外 G Wong 就睇咗我哋好多集，咁小朋友仲好細個。咁首先好多謝阿 Gigi， 係咯，我都認得你個名，都問咗我哋嘅問題，都問咗好多次，咁都好開心啦。我哋嘅片可以幫到你哋啦，解答到你哋一啲問題啦。可能雖然小朋友細個，但係可能你哋已經 well plan 㗎嘛，咁每日已經係想問多啲資料嘅，咁我哋都好歡迎你哋可以揾我哋嘅，因為我哋都試過有啲可能手抱 BB 咧，都已經係想問定我哋一啲升學嘅資料，都試過嘅，有家長係好早去作出準備嘅，咁呢個係絕對係理解嘅。另外就你問到女女係咪要寫5份 personal statement？OK，咁頭先都講過啦 ，Ucas 係去外國英國去讀大學嘅其中一個幾重要嘅環節嚟嘅。基本上，如果你要報英國嘅大學的話咧，就好似香港嘅聯招咁樣，你要經過 Ucas 呢個 system 咧去報你嘅英國大學嘅。咁但係同香港嘅 JUPAS 會有唔同嘅就係咧，佢 limit 咗你係五個 choices 嘅啫。咁而呢5個 choices 咧係應該係一間大學咧，你就揀一個課程一個 program。咁你問到需唔需要寫5份 statement？ 咁頭先 Anna 有提過，其實一個 complete 嘅 Ucas 嘅做法係點咧？首先咧，你就要有 personal statement 啦，要有學校俾你嘅 predicted grade 啦，跟住仲有就係 reference letter 啦。咁呢3樣咧係最基本你要 prepare 嘅嘢嚟㗎啦。咁另外你揀咧就係揀5個學校啊嘛。咁需唔需要寫5份 personal statement 咧？就唔需要嘅，寫1份得㗎啦。同埋個 tricks 咧最緊要記住，因為你揀嘅因為寫得1份 personal statement 啊嘛。咁你譬如啦嚇，你可能你好中意LSE， 你好中意 Oxford， 好中意 Cambridge， 你就千祈唔好喺你嗰份 personal statement 度寫話我非常之中意 Oxford 呢間 university 㗎，所以咁樣，咁啊千祈唔好咁啦，因為5個 options 嘅學校咧都係睇同一份 personal statement 嘅。如果你全咁樣寫法咧，其實另外嗰4間咧可能就覺得你個 interest 就唔係咁大嘅咯喎，所以呢個就唔好做啦。第一樣嘢，第二咧就係因為personal statement 寫1份啊嘛，咁你就唔好嗰5個 options 咧。可能第一個 options 你就揀 health science， 第二個 option 揀 business， 第3個 options 可能你揀law， 第4個你可能揀sports science， 你就千祈唔好咁啦，因為你嗰份 personal statement 咧就攞唔到個重點㗎。咁呢個都係我哋會提一提家長你要留意嘅地方咯。嗱，咁頭先有提到阿 J 咧就係喺英國讀書讀咗好耐啦。咁其實呢排咧呢幾次嘅 live session 咧，都好多學校代表都會講下 Ucas 啊，講下 A level。你又咁細個去讀啊，咁其實你應該可以俾多啲細啲年紀嘅小朋友嘅一啲advice 啊。例如打個譬如啊，你 Year 8過去讀啊嘛，咁你 Year 8上 Year 9， 或者係喺Year 9、Year 10 GCSE 嗰陣時，因為我哋有講過呢個 GCSE 咧，如果係 2 years 嘅 program 咧，你應該要揀8到10科啦，咁大約係呢個數啦。你當陣時係點樣揀科啊？或者你又 share 下俾大家啊 J？
嗱，其實咧，喺英國咧冇一個好似香港有一個文科或者理科嘅概念嘅。基本上頭先所講啦，2年一個 GCSE 正常就2年嘅課程啦。咁就算好似你話 Kings Education 去 Kings College 佢哋咧1年嘅 GCSE 課程咧，其實佢哋都讀5至6科嘅。咁呢度當中無論2年又好，1年嘅 GCSE 課程都好，當中咧其實會包括咗主修科。咁主修科就一定會有英文啦、數學啦、science 啦。如果你話讀2年 GCSE，基本上你 3 Cam by 都會讀晒㗎啦。咁之後可能係有 humanities 嘅科喺度，咁所以你基本上最少起碼都有大概 around 3到5科嘅主修科㗎啦。咁視乎你係 2 years 或 1 year GCSE 嘅啫。咁之後其實去揀科到你真係揀 elective 啦，係真係好睇你自己興趣嘅，你會中意讀嘅科目啦。咁好似我嗰陣時比較會對classical civilization 啦、ceramics 啦、geography 會有興趣嘅，咁我就真係跟住自己嘅興趣去揀科。咁所以其實唔需要話太擔心喺 GCSE 嗰個過程會揀錯科，因為其實佢嘅用意就係俾學生去接觸唔同嘅科目，佢嘗試咗之後，佢慢慢發掘自己嘅長處，自己嘅興趣，之後再去慢慢篩選到去 A level， 去幫佢去揀 A level 嘅科目嘅。咁所以呢度就唔需要太即係，如果有啲學生可能話 GCSE 點樣揀科，其實唔需要太擔心，因為佢嘅主修科其實已經 cover 咗最需要嘅科目㗎啦。咁你話大學申請大學嘅時候會睇翻 GCSE 咧，其實大學一般只會參考翻可能係英文、數學。如果你話 science 嘅科目就會睇翻你可能 science 嘅 grade。不過係啦，但係就影響唔會話太大嘅。
我有個又係我自己嘅自身經驗啦。我曾經幫過一個小朋友去揾英國嘅學校啦。咁佢其實喺香港都個成績就中上啦。咁Band 1中嘅學校啦。咁但係咧，佢因為你都知啊，我哋讀 DSE，你唔係一定話好似我嗰個年代咁樣，或者好似英國咁樣，你理科就通常係理科生啊，文科就文科生啊。咁而家嘅 DSE 學制咧，好多時都係除咗 core subject 之外咧，揀多2個 elective 嘅啫。咁2個 elective，就算你係理科生都好啦，可能你都係揀 free cam 或者 free by 或者 cam by whatever 啦，咁都係咁嘅 combination。咁我嗰個 case 咧就係佢升上去DSE 嗰個 syllabus 嗰陣時咧，學校就即係因為佢嗰個分數咧 physics 上面就唔係咁 strong 啊，咁所以咧佢就冇，學校就唔俾佢，即係學校係有 physics 揀嘅，但係學校就唔俾佢揀做 elective。咁我就試過有呢個 case 啦。咁跟住媽咪就同我講啦，就話我個仔咧第時係好想讀 engineering 嘅，仲要係讀 electrical engineering。咁佢冇 physics 唔得噶嘛，咁學校又唔俾佢讀，咁就把心一橫咧就去英國讀書啦。我想又問下啦，咁 GCSE 其實會唔會話唔俾你讀嘅咧？即係好似香港而家個 syllabus 咁香港個 curriculum 咁樣，唔俾你揀某啲科，因為話你之前成績可能你個 general science 唔係咁好喎，我覺得你唔好揀啦，會唔會咁㗎？
英國 GCSE 比較少聽到學校會唔俾學生去揀佢哋嘅科嘅，當然都視乎翻嗰間學校佢哋揀科嘅 policy 啦。因為有一啲學校佢哋可能比較大型少少啦，佢哋俾學生揀科係用block 去揀嘅，可能 block A 揀一科 ，block B 揀一科，有機會係因為 timetable 上面撞咗揀唔到個科，會有咁嘅情況嘅啫。但係亦都有一啲學校咧，其實佢哋俾學生揀科係學生先去揀科，揀完之後有個專人去排timetable 嘅。咁因為始終 GCSE 佢嘅程度係講緊等於香港中4到中5嘅 level 啦。咁所以其實唔係話特別太難嘅程度嚟嘅。咁所以好少聽到學校會唔俾學生喺 GCSE 揀佢自己中意嗰科。 係啦。咁有機會係去到可能係 A level 嘅時候因為學生已經可能已經有一個 GCSE 嘅成績喺度啦嘛，係啦。咁可能佢嘅 GCSE 反映到，咦佢 physics 可能真係好弱喎。咁但係A level 佢哋真係覺得冇信心學生可以讀到啦。咁有機會，但係好似阿 Patrick 所講啦，學生真係好想讀呢個 engineering，咁學校有機會會 offer 一啲 alternative 嘅 qualification 俾佢嘅，係啦。其實都係想希望幫到學生入到去大學讀佢中意嗰科。咁有機會除咗 A level 嘅 option 之外，其實學校有 foundation 嘅選擇啦。咁甚至乎又會有其他好似除咗 A level 之外，會有 BTEC 嘅 qualification 咁樣俾學生選擇嘅。
咁即係話A level 嗰陣時，可能就都要 base on 翻你之前 GCSE 嘅成績啦，又或者之前提過啦，如果小朋友係諗住直接過去就讀 sixth form 嘅，讀 lower sixth form 嘅，咁可能學校會要考 subject test 啦，睇下你會唔會揀到嗰啲科啦。但係頭先亦都聽你咁講，好多你喺 GCSE 讀嘅課程咧，我喺香港冇聽過，應該係冇呢啲 options 揀嘅。好似英國嗰個 variety 好似多好多喎，係咪？你舉例有啲你可能你應該點都有啲香港嘅同學仔㗎，即係你走嘅啫。咁係咪有一啲科目其實都好新鮮，係你哋嗰邊英國獨有嘅？
英國的而且確選擇會比香港多好多啦。咁好似我自己以前學校會有 ceramics 嘅 ceramics 即係陶藝啦。可能係香港嘅同學仔，即係中意藝術嘅同學仔，可能係香港嘅選擇只會係視覺藝術一啲 visual arts 2D， 可能係一啲 drawing 啊 painting 嘅課程。咁但係其實喺英國佢哋嘅 arts 除咗 two-dimensional 嘅，咁 three-dimensional 好似陶藝啦 textiles 啦，甚至乎係 D&T 啦、design technology 啦、photography 都可以係一個選擇嚟嘅。所以其實佢哋可以接觸到唔同嘅藝術嘅範疇啦，同埋呢個亦都會幫助一啲想第時入讀一啲藝術設計degree 嘅學生嘅，因為你要做 portfolio， 你 portfolio 唔會淨係純粹一個 two-dimensional 嘅畫作，係啦，咁你會有唔同嘅作品，會有唔同嘅 medium。要 show 到俾學校睇，咁所以喺英國嗰個 support 會相對比較大嘅。咁另外啦，會好似有 Latin 啦、classical civilization 啦等等呢啲科目啦。咁 classics 係讀一啲古希臘啦、古羅馬文明嘅科目啦。對於可能香港學生比較少接觸，咁但係其實係一個好好嘅科目嚟嘅，因為佢第一佢因為始終 classics 佢牽涉到歐洲啊、歐美嗰邊本身佢哋嘅constitution 啦，佢哋嘅政治啦，亦都係咁樣去演變過嚟而家社會狀況啦。咁亦都會可能係讀到一啲以前嘅社會上一啲嘅即係社會文明，可能係探討一啲佢哋嘅社會架構啊、男女平等啊呢啲問題。相對呢一科會對寫作嘅要求會比較高嘅，咁但係對於學生去練佢嘅文筆啦、去寫嘢啦、作表達能力啦，其實係一個好好嘅科嚟嘅。
明白。咁我哋又講翻下 Kings College 啦。Kings College 有幾個 campus。咁啊 Dylan，我知道你就未去晒嘅。咁啊，但係我都知道你去過 Brighton。Brighton 你覺得嗰個環境點啊？
係啦，咁咧就 Kings 咧，其實佢哋係有4個唔同嘅 college 啦。咁咧其實佢哋喺 London、Brighton、Bournemouth 同埋 Oxford 有學校啊嘛。咁咧就其實我都未去過真係佢哋個學院嘅。咁但係我就即係因為我 base London 啦，咁所以就大概知道即係佢 Kings College 喺 London 嗰個附近嘅環境啦。同埋我都去過 Brighton 啊。咁可能先講咗 Brighton 先啦。咁咧，其實 Brighton 係一個都幾 vibrant，即係好多姿多彩嘅一個小城市嚟嘅。其實佢應該都算係啲英國人自己過來旅行嘅一個 top destination 啦，係一個好舒服嘅海邊城市，而且佢喺海邊係好多配套啦。咁所以如果去旅行嚟講咧，喺英國係比較少呢一類型嘅城市，咁所以佢就會特別受歡迎啦。咁我同埋佢有好多即係 比較新潮啲嘅一啲可能小店啊，譬如賣衫啊，或者係一啲細細間嘅食店啊，咁係好多姿多彩一個地方嚟嘅。咁而且係好安全啦，成個城市感覺上。咁啊，所以我相信，如果學生喺 Brighton 讀書咧，其實都應該會幾開心嘅。同埋佢嗰度咧，其實附近已經有2間大學啦。咁所以其實 Brighton 都算係一個少少嘅學生嘅 city 嚟嘅。咁啊，所以你去到你就算base 喺 Brighton 咧，基本上都唔使怕悶嘅。佢都有好多嘢可以玩啊，可以食下嘢啊咁樣，咁都幾唔錯嘅。咁而且出翻去 London 咧，其實好多車啦，好多車可以出 London 啦，同埋 around 都係可能1個鐘就已經出到去 Central London，咁所以都好方便嘅一個地方嘅。咁啊，如果喺 London 方面咧，其實佢個 campus 咧就唔係喺市中心嘅，佢哋喺 London 嘅南邊嘅一個叫做 Beckenham 嘅地方。咁啊，同我之前去過嘅一個餐啦，叫做 Croydon 咧，都幾近嘅。咁就都係一個即係可能叫做靜少少嘅一個地帶啦。即係同我之前去可能大家如果有睇到我啲片咧，可能一間叫 DLD College 啦，另外一間叫 David James 啊。咁嗰啲就喺 Central London 嘅。咁佢就唔同啦。咁佢就會喺翻一啲比較suburban 嘅地方，即係大家住嘅地方，咁可能就會比較靜少少咯。即係你 even 喺 London 入面讀書，咁但係都冇咁煩囂啊個地方，咁就其實都幾適合讀書嘅。
OK，咁即係Kings 嘅 location 就靜中帶旺又旺中帶靜啊，
可以咁講咯。我相信咧，其實佢喺譬如 Brighton 啊、Bournemouth、Oxford 呢啲比較細啲嘅地方咧，咁佢個 location 就會近翻，即係可能其他嘅商業配套啊，即係可能High Street 啊咁樣。咁啲學生買嘢就會可能仲方便過喺 London 嗰個 campus 嘅，因為會比較近。因為通常嗰啲城市咧就只係得一個即係shopping areas 嘅啫。咁但係 London 就唔係咁樣嘅結構咯。咁所以如果大家係讀 Kings 咁去揀翻可能 Bournemouth、Brighton、Oxford 咧，咁就可能嗰個生活配套啊更加好添。係啊。
哇 ，location 咧都應該係好多時唔同嘅小朋友啊，唔同家長啊，佢哋都會就住可能自己一啲諗法啦，可能想佢少啲 distractions 啊，想佢專心啲啊，定還是係佢都 OK 喎，想佢 convenient 啲啊，唔好太悶啊。咁其實colleges 啦，私立學院啦，通常同我哋之前講嘅 boarding school 另外一個比較大嘅分別嘅 features 係咩咧？除咗 Kings 嘅可能係London campus 啦，基本上佢大部分咧都會好近嗰個頭先你講嘅 shopping areas 啦、commercial 嘅地方啦、travelling 啊，都相對地係方便啲嘅。同你喺其他嗰啲 boarding school 嗰啲即係郊區咧，就真係有啲唔同嘅。因為人哋學校可能仲有泳池啊、幾個足球場啊、幾個室內籃球場啊、tennis court 啊，咁你冇可能喺 city area 有嘅。咁睇下你哋需要啲咩啦，同埋都重新都講一次啦，都再講一次啦。因為 colleges 佢係適合真係比較係有 aim 有一個 goal 嘅。因為如果你想要有 boarding life 咧，其實就一定係傳統嘅 boarding school 㗎啦。但係如果你話我係想去揾一間學校應付可能係考試嗰個唔係即係目標多啲嘅咧，咁私立學院咧就比較適合你啦。而 Kings College 咧同星期一講嘅 Cardiff Sixth Form College 有啲唔同喎。呢間咧就唔使着校服嘅。星期一嗰間咧雖然都係私立學院，但係佢係要着校服嘅。咁呢度又有少少嘅細細啲嘅分別啦，即係睇下你小朋友係咪你當其實去 Kings College 咧，就算你 GCSE 都好啦，都當你半個大人咁滯㗎啦，即係你個自律性個 discipline 咧要好啲咧，咁去呢一類嘅學校就會好少少。咁啊，我哋又講個 location 啦，又講個 GCSE 啦，咁啊，梗係又要叫阿 J 你因為你喺英國讀大學啊嘛，頭先有講過 Ucas。你覺得你喺自己個 experience 啦， 譬如你讀 boarding school 嗰陣時啊，或者你去揀大學嗰陣時，你覺得譬如啲 timeline 上面，你會有啲咩sharing 啊？
嗱，其實申請 Ucas 咧，其實過程都比較多文件去準備啦，好似頭先 Anna 所講嘅personal statement 啦，學校要出 reference letter 啦，咁之後你仲可能要揀嗰5間大學嘅 choice 啊，program 啦，咁所以其實都同埋因為你係最尾一年講緊係 Year 13考 A level 嗰年去做，咁雖然話 A level 讀3到4科啦，可能聽落去好少科，咁但係其實佢嘅 workload 都係多嘅嗰一年。咁加上你要同時 handle 呢個 Ucas 咧，咁我會建議無論 A level 嘅學生又好啦，或者香港 DSE 嘅學生都好啦，即係嚟考試嘅啲盡早準備，因為其實你 personal statement 寫嘅時候，你唔止寫完之後，可能你來來回回要修改好幾次嘅，咁所以呢個我會建議真係可能係9月開學就開始可以準備啦。如果你話好似想報醫科嘅，咁可能要再早少少去準備啦，因為有相關嘅考試要考，係啦。咁留意啦。咁如果你話醫科嘅，咁就好似禮拜一佢哋所講嘅，咁就會10月15號嘅 deadline，呢個係一個一定要遞交到嗰個所有申請文件入去啦。咁如果你話其他科目嘅，咁第一 round 比較大嘅 deadline 咧，就會係明年1月嘅25號，即係如果係講緊2023年入學學生啦。OK， 咁點解我會建議盡早準備咧？其實Ucas 個做法咧，佢哋唔係等到 deadline 截晒止啦，佢哋先至出 admission 先至去慢慢睇，慢慢出 offer 嘅。佢哋出 offer 其實 on rolling 咁樣去出。咁所以根據尤其是好似香港嘅學生比較會 prefer 中意health science 嘅科目，咁根據我哋以往經驗，其實都見到學校咧，大學好多時候咧喺1月中之後咧都會話俾你聽，咦health science 嘅科目好似 PT 啊、OT 啊呢啲都已經 close application 㗎啦。咁所以第一，如果真係有意去報 PT、OT 或者其他 health science 相關嘅科目嘅學生，會建議盡早去遞交呢個申請。係啦，尤其是要趕喺1月中之前嘅 deadline 度遞交啦。咁第二啦，咁其他科嘅同學仔咪話冇咁急咧？咁又唔係，因為佢哋其實都有聽過，就係嗰邊嘅大學佢哋有個 type 嘅，因為佢 on rolling 咁樣出 offer 嘛。佢如果早期，因為其實佢哋你一般預大概10月尾11月中，其實已經開始出緊 conditional offer 噶啦。咁佢哋可能首先會見到頭一批學生，咦？我有幾個 type 嘅學生已經收咗翻嚟，已經出咗 offer 俾佢哋啦。你越遲去遞交嘅時候，可能你嗰個我當你係一個好 sporty 一個即係參加好多volunteering 分數又高嘅學生，但係咦大學可能 admission 去見到之前我都已經收過呢一 type 嘅學生咯喎，咁你嗰個獨特性就減少咗啦。咁所以如果你話我盡早準備好晒啲文件，早啲去遞交到嘅話咧，其實係會有個着數喺度嘅。
即係簡單啲就越早就越好啦。你講開頭先 Anna 個 presentation 啊，我又醒起佢有講到咧，其實如果你報一啲係fine art 嘅 program 咧，你係需要 prepare portfolio。咁不如阿 Dylan 你又講先啦，因為我知道你去學校嗰陣時，你影嗰啲片咧，又直頭嗰啲人哋上art program 嗰啲地方成個 art gallery 咁喎，好唔同喎，同我哋香港所謂讀美術啊，係完全兩碼子嘅事嚟喎。你覺得嗰邊嗰個即係 for design 呢啲 program 啊，係咪你去過咁多間寄宿中學咧？其實佢哋嗰個感覺同香港都好唔同啊。同埋你知唔知道佢哋會喺 portfolio 上面會唔會有啲咩advice 或者 guidelines 俾佢哋啲小朋友過大學申請？
咁咧其實我覺得即係 generally 我去咗咁多間可能 boarding school 或者 college 啦，咁咧其實佢哋整體上嗰個美術嘅水平咧係真係幾高下嘅，而且係 我唔敢講話，因為我唔係即係呢方面嘅專家啦，我又唔係好識即係藝術設計啦。咁啊，但係我見到啲小朋友嘅畫作咧，係即係已經好有出面畫廊嘅感覺嘅，所以絕對唔係話即係求其畫下咁樣，係完全係有風格，有自己嘅風格啦，同埋係好高水平嘅。咁所以呢個即係我諗相對喺香港嚟講，咁因為始終大家個配套唔同啦，好似頭先阿 J 咁講啦，我哋香港 DSE 嘅可能 art 嘅 subject 本身就已經係少啲㗎啦，咁但係 A level 本身佢就已經係多啲唔同嘅 choice 俾學生，而且可能係 art 嚟講，佢都可能下面分拆開好多科去俾學生揀，咁所以可以係好專注去發展某一方面嘅 art 嘅 subject 嘅，咁所以本身佢哋嘅配套就已經係 in depth 啲啦，咁而且係深入好多嘅，咁所以有咁樣嘅水平，其實都係好容易理解嘅。咁至於你話會唔會話幫到學生做 portfolio？咁呢個就一定會㗎，因為如果嗰個學生譬如佢真係揀 ceramic，佢揀 textile，咁佢哋除咗係要做好多自己嘅 design 去 build up 自己嘅 portfolio 之外，其實我哋之前去過啲學校，譬如佢係做 textile，佢係做紡織，去做時裝設計嘅話，其實學校唔止係會幫佢哋手去做自己 portfolio，去做自己一件衫嘅設計，佢仲有時會去組織一啲 tours，可能去唔同嘅國家，可能係法國啊、意大利啊，去睇人哋嘅 fashion week。咁佢用呢啲嘅經驗去增加佢哋個 portfolio 嗰個嘅嗰個說服力咯。咁啊，所以呢啲就係即係你喺英國讀書，可能尤其是讀呢啲科目嘅優點，因為我哋好近歐洲啦，咁同埋本身好多嘅時裝公司啊，又或者設計公司啊，都係 base 歐洲，咁所以你喺歐洲讀書，你近歐洲就已經有呢一個着數嘅地方咯。
阿 J 咧，你好似係讀呢方面嘅 major 喎。
我算係派邊啊，咁但係其實我自己 A level 咧，應該咁講，我讀書嘅時候身邊好多朋友都係行咗去讀 art design 嗰方面嘅，尤其是可能係 costume design 啦、fashion design 啦，甚至乎可能係furniture product and furniture design 呢一類。咁其實咧喺英國讀 art 嘅學生咧，好多時候你會發覺佢唔止係淨係讀 art 呢一科嘅。佢會同時讀 art 啦、textiles 啦、幾科 design 相關嘅學科一齊咁讀。咁因為好似portfolio，你頭先提到 portfolio 啦，一般大學佢哋要求學生遞交嘅 portfolio 咧，大概需要15到20張嘅作品嘅。呢15到20嘅作品入邊，其實除咗啲 sketching 啦、ideas 之外，平面嘅設計之外，其實都會需要到可能係一啲 material 上邊啊，你嘅 technique 上邊啊，甚至乎一啲 three dimensional 嘅嘢，所以牽涉到嘅嘢其實好多嘅，可以係啦。咁英國無論 A level 又好啦，甚至好似Kings Education 一啲private college 啊，其實好似 private college 咁樣，其實佢哋都有啲 art 嘅 foundation 嘅，係啦。art foundation 入邊佢係可以俾學生去接觸唔同嘅 design 嘅範疇。咁除咗可能係 textile 之外，咁可能係涉及photography，一啲product design 等等等等。咁所以佢哋除咗有好好嘅設施去 support 學生之外，其實學生喺嗰年其實係真係可以接觸到唔同嘅範疇，而去慢慢 build up 自己嘅 portfolio 嘅。咁foundation 有啲 art 嘅 foundation， 其實呢一方面佢哋係俾得一啲好好嘅 support。學生啦，同埋佢哋都有同一啲大學去緊密聯繫、緊密合作啦，所以好清楚知道大學對於 portfolio 嘅要求，而去幫學生慢慢 build up 嗰個 portfolio 嘅。
明白。嗱，咁今日時間又差唔多啦，咁我哋今日又講多咗一間私立學院啦，又好高興阿 J 啦，佢以一個用家嘅身份咧，就講咗一啲自己喺英國讀書啊、Ucas 啊、GCSE 揀科上邊嘅一啲 experience 俾大家聽啦，咁希望都幫到大家啦。咁又賣下廣告啦。上次做咗呼籲之後咧，真係好彩啊！好多觀眾咧都有俾 like 啦，同埋有 subscribe 我哋個 channel 嘅。咁我哋都希望嚟緊咧今日有睇嘅觀眾，或者你之後睇 playback 嘅觀眾咧，都可以介紹我哋呢個實拍實說嘅平台俾你嘅朋友啦。希望呢個平台上邊嘅資訊咧可以幫到大家。咁記得啦 ，subscribe 啦、like 啦、share 啦，同埋 comment， 記得要撳埋個鐘仔。咁另外咧，我都要講多一個arrangement 嘅，因為本嚟嚟緊禮拜五嘅8點半夜晚時間咧，我哋都會有另外一間叫做 single sex 嘅 single gender 嘅Bedford School， 佢會做個 presentation 俾大家嘅。但係因為突然間時間上面嘅一啲問題啦、安排啦，我哋就好逼不得已咧，就要做 cancellation， 就 cancel 咗呢個活動。咁但係我哋之後咧都會希望盡量安排翻另外一啲 sessions 咧，同翻呢間 Bedford School 咧去做翻個 live sharing 俾大家。咁另外星期五冇咗咯喎，咁啊到星期六啦，星期六嘅11點鐘咧，我哋有一間女校都好出名嘅 Ucas Ladies， 咁 Ucas Ladies College 咧都會做個 live 佢哋嘅招生代表啦，都會做翻個 live 俾大家嘅11點鐘。咁到時我都會喺度啦，同埋我另外一位senior counselor 一齊喺度解答大家問題嘅。咁本來下晝咧都有另外一間Co-ed School 咧都會做 presentation 嘅，但係因為又係時間上面突然間出咗啲問題啦，咁嗰間都又要被逼 cancel 咗嘅。咁所以咧喺呢個禮拜咧，我哋星期五嘅 live 咧就會取消啦，同埋星期六下午時間嗰個 live 都會取消嘅。咁啊呢個就都同家長啦，同埋各位觀眾就講聲唔好意思先。咁完咗呢個禮拜嘅活動之後咧，到下個禮拜咧記得啦，我基本上日日都提㗎啦。我哋第3擊啊就係我哋會 set 咗一啲 one-to-one 嘅 sessions 咧，係同我哋嘅部分叫做participate 我哋嘅 event 嘅學校咧，有個單對單嘅面談嘅機會嘅。咁記得，如果你係有興趣嘅話咧，打電話俾我哋啦 ，WhatsApp 我哋啦，23148312，同我哋嘅旺角同埋荃灣嘅同事咧，做個 discussions 啦，盡早去做個 registrations。咁我哋就留翻個 time slot 俾你咧，同翻你心儀嘅學校去做呢個 meeting 啦。咁啊，今日時間就差唔多啦。咁好多謝阿 J 啦，再一次多謝 Dylan 啦。咁啊，應該禮拜六 Dylan 就join 唔到我哋啦。咁啊，但係嚟緊咧，你哋都會喺我哋嘅實拍實說 channel 入邊咧，會成日都見到佢嘅video 噶啦。咁記得準時，我哋星期六11點鐘上晝再見，拜拜。